Hey everybody, so oh my gosh, can you believe how fast this year 2024 has flown by? So if you're watching this as of right now, at the time of this recording, it is October, mid-October 2024. And so because we are right smack dab in the middle of October, that only means one thing. The holidays are quickly about to start approaching us. And so what I wanted to do in this video was to share with you some sensory-friendly activities and sensory-friendly ideas that you can do with your child, especially because the holidays, as we all know, can be very overwhelming for all of us. But if your child is one that suffers from some type of sensory processing issue, then the holidays can be even more detrimental. And so in this video, we're going to be talking about some activity ideas that you can do that will help your child feel more comfortable, but still allow them to enjoy the holidays that are ahead. The first thing I want to talk about is creating a sensory-friendly home environment around the holiday time. So a lot of things that usually a lot of people do, they have bright lights and all these decorations, and it's like a house full of decor inside and outside. But for a child that has some sensory processing deficits, then that actually can be a little bit of overload for them. It could be a lot of visual stimulus going on and a lot of visual distractions. And so I recommend that you have some very low-key decorations. So remember that colors are a big deal too. So instead of going for those super bright holiday festive colors, maybe you can go for some more of those more muted, more natural toned holiday colors. Also, you don't necessarily need to decorate your house all over if your child is the one that has sensory processing deficits. Maybe just keep the decorations to a certain room or a certain area in the house where the child can kind of really come and go as they please, but it's not overwhelming where it's everywhere in the house that the child will be. Also, think of lighting alternatives. So instead of those bright flashing lights, think of maybe those very subtle twinkle lights that you can put out. Or even think about smells, right? So instead of those really strong candles, think of something very subtle. So maybe put some vanilla or lavender into a diffuser instead of those very overpowering fall scented candles that we usually all love around the holidays. To go along with creating a sensory-friendly home environment, also consider creating a quiet zone in your house. Now, this could be a small area where you put to the side specifically for your child. So in this quiet zone, it could be a small corner, it could be a closet, it could be your child's bathroom, just somewhere that is designated specifically for your child. Even those teepees or those tents that they make for children could work as well. And basically all you have to do is set up some of your child's favorite sensory fidgets or sensory tools that your child loves to engage with, pillows, cushions, things that they can squeeze and manipulate in their hands, maybe some headphones where they can listen to music, and put that in a specific area so that way when your child does feel overwhelmed, they can retreat to that area and it can help them become a little bit more regulated. And the last tip I have as far as making the environment more sensory friendly is to keep in mind the music. Now we all know that around this time, there's one particular song that happens, it comes on every single year. I'm not gonna say any names, but it sounds like Soraya Sari, and that one particular song can be very festive, but a lot of times it can be quite overwhelming and loud depending on how you play it, right? So if your child is one that is very sensitive to holiday music and holiday songs, maybe opt out altogether for those type of songs, or maybe even just play very soft instrumentals, and that could still provide you all with that festive feeling for the holidays. The next idea that I want to bring to your attention is creating some sensory-friendly holiday crafts with your child. So keep in mind, especially if you have a child that is very sensitive to different textures, then you may have to really be creative as to what type of holiday crafts you do with your child. Some children may thrive and love projects that have to do with glitter and glue and all of those things, whereas other kids are very sensitive to those textures, and maybe they would just do better with things like pom-poms or popsicle sticks, things that are not not as wet and slimy. And so I advise you to think of some very fun holiday crafts that you can do with your child that really helps and caters to their particular sensory needs. Another tip to consider when you are trying to create a sensory-friendly holiday experience for your child is to think about the family and your usual holiday traditions. Now, for a lot of you all, I know getting together with the family is kind of like a tradition, right? So maybe you may need to change things up a little bit. Maybe instead of getting together with the family all together, if it's too much for your child, then maybe you want to think about having more small, quiet gatherings with different parts of the family. Or maybe having your family kind of spread out. If they're coming to your house, maybe have them kind of spread out when they're coming and going, so it's not so overwhelming all at once for your child. Or if you're just like, there's no way I can do these quiet, small gatherings because the way my family's set up, we just all have to be together. If that's the case, well, I highly recommend that you have some things set in place. Number one, prepare your child for what's to come. So you may want to talk to them about what's going to be happening. You may want to show pictures of maybe the family members who they may see. You may want to bring along with them like a sensory toolkit that they can keep with them at all times in case they need to use any of the items there to help with that regulation piece. Or you may need to even do some social stories ahead of time. So just kind of explaining to them and reading stories about families getting together so they know what to expect. And to go along with that, you may need to already know your time limit. So let's say that you know that your child is really only going to be able to tolerate maybe an hour or two before it's time to go. Then maybe you want to discuss that with your family and let them know what to expect from you as well. Another idea to think about is outdoor holiday activities. So as we all know, there's so many things going on. There's Fall Fest, there are Thanksgiving runs, there are winter activities, ice skating, so many things that are about to start taking place during the holidays. Now, your child may be the one who craves these things and may love them, but for other children, they may want to stay away and may be easily overwhelmed when they're out in these types of environments, especially because holidays, there could be big crowds of people. And so if your child is one that is more on the sensitive side and becomes overwhelmed easily, you may consider alternate like outdoor activities. So instead of taking them to a big like festival, maybe you guys can just go to a park and do like some sledding down the hill with just you and the family, or even just go on a nature walk with each other. So that way your child is still able to kind of see what's going on and engage in some of those festival activities, but it may have to just be modified a little bit to suit their needs. Now, another very common holiday tradition that a lot of us do is holiday baking and cooking. So it's important to remember, especially if your child is one that is a picky eater, or they are one that is not very open and welcoming to new textures and new foods, this is not the time to force your child to try these new experiences because the holidays can already be very overwhelming. So this is the time where you can allow your child to have those safe foods and to have those safe experiences when it comes to holiday baking or holiday cooking or mealtime. Sometimes your child may only want to eat crackers and apple slices for dinner while everybody else is eating turkey and dressing and macaroni and all of that, right? So don't force feed your child those things if that is something that they don't necessarily like and enjoy even on a regular basis. So it's nothing wrong with putting it on their plate or putting it on a plate nearby them, and if they try it, they try it, but if they don't, then don't worry about it. So remember, the holidays can be such a magical time, but it also can be very overwhelming, especially if your child is dealing with some sensory processing challenges. But with a little planning and a little bit of modifications, you can actually create a fun holiday experience for both you and your child. So guys, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope this helps you start to get a head start on all of that holiday planning that is quickly approaching us. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what other sensory strategies are helpful for your child. And also, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that I can continue to provide free education and information for parents as they navigate child development. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.